everybody, this is Dan. House of Broken Dobbs things. So got a couple of stickers that came in, and the first one you'll recognize is Doug from Metalworks Machine Shop, and he's probably nearly one of my closest YouTube neighbors. He's only a big part of a state away, but he's just down the road. Of course, there's a few other ones nearby here in Michigan, but as far as out of state, that's about as close as you get. So thanks, Doug. Everybody's been following him. He's got the big mill. He always does something cool. Has that gloriously cool cutting table with plasma cutting. Looks really neat. I appreciate he took us out to the gun range one day and just was sighting in some of his toys. So appreciate that. I've been watching Doug for several years now, and I've always been impressed. Very nice gentleman, and he follows and supports equally with everybody else. Next one is Eccentric Engineering out of Australia. This is the acute sharpening system. This is their sticker. We'll get them up there as well. Now, someone probably many of you already know is Everett from Everett's Workshop. I had a nice little interaction with him via email. We kind of share a little bit of the mechanical background. He's far advanced than I am in the machining area, but we did share a couple back and forth on that. But very nice gentleman. Again, Everett's Workshop up in Canada. He's probably one of my closest international neighbors. And so I do appreciate what he does up there. I know he's got the new house, the family, moving everything around. So looking forward to his new content. I've seen a few ones there recently, but I do appreciate that. And Paul at Knacklers Workshop. He is a very nice gentleman who seems to be a big supporter, and as I told him via email, just a great friend to all these channels. So from that one, again, with Paul, give his channel a look. He does some very intricate things, as well as has a very nice little workshop set up for himself that one day I hope to retire and finish setting up mine. Because what you see now is me running out, grab the camera, go shoot some video, get back in, go back to work, all that other stuff. So a lot of other guys do it too. However, for me, retirement will be just sitting back and doing pretty much what I want for a change. All right, let me get these posted. Okay, this is the cross-feed nut. You see, keeping with the theme, on this one you can see that the holes were drilled cockeyed. So that needs to be tidied up, but this is a fairly small one. If you notice, they didn't leave himself much room, and there's a reason for that. I'll get you a picture of that here in just a second, but spoiler alert, I already let it out of the bag, is we're going to be taking the existing 5/8 by 11 right here for the cross feed and down feed. These are straight normal threads, and we're going to be doing an upgrade to a proper Acme thread for the cross feed, as well as the table up vertical. So I know it's a lot of overkill, Dan, for a shaper, but you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm just going to do it. So switching that up to an Acme, that's going to be a 6-pitch thread. Obviously, it's not going to be an even number going around, but at that point, who cares? It's strong, and we'll have basically no give to it whatsoever. So that was the reason for generating a new nut. So if you'll notice, I tried to model it as close as I could, but also build in some additional rigidity into it. So I know it's a plastic version, but it was actually able to put it in, and I'll show you here in a second. But I think that will be a little bit more beefy as far as the actual metal itself, and getting it right was quite a task. So I got that going for me, and in addition to that, I did install one, and all I had to do was run a 3/4 6 Acme tap through it and clean those plastic threads up, and they actually fit really nice. So well, and there it goes. All right. No, I'm not going to leave it plastic, but I just wanted to give you an idea that the fit is excellent. So we will be going that route. I just sharing with you now. There's a lot of work to get to there. Okay, let me get the camera set for another shot. I'll show you what I was looking at. Okay, so this is the cross feed right here. This is where the original nut is. You'll notice that they've got a trench set through here. And what I did is I conformed my revised nut to that trench. So it's going to add, I don't know, probably 20-30% more mass to it. We are probably going to be doing it in this nice hunk. I believe that's bearing bronze. Yep. We'll be making it out of that. I think I've got just enough size on that. So that will be an upgrade to go with the Acme crossfeed. And if you'll notice right here, there is very, I just got these started in here. There is very little, probably less than a 1/16th worth of clearance there, even with the original design. So I had to be kind of generous with that one and try to keep everything lined up. So hold on a second here. There you go. Pretty much got a good angle because I had to factor in the camera offset to line that up, but keeping it pretty much in line, and so we won't have any wobblies. Again, this will have to be changed out a little bit. I'll be turning down that end of the shaft, and we're going to be putting thrust washers and thrust bearings on every working joint in this one. So it should turn smoothly. Everything should be in great shape. Okay, I'm gonna, normally I ask for input, and I will, so your thoughts are welcome as always. But in this one, as I mentioned before, it has no oiling per se. It's an oil can chase to keep everything lubricated. So what I'm going to do is take a little freedom on this one, and we are going to convert this thing into a wet sump. What do you mean, Dan? It's going to be a wet sump with splash. So this is going to become a plate that's going to go here, and then the base is going to go on it. We're going to seal that, and then that is going to allow it to hold fluid, lube of whatever type. But that is going to require us to do certain other things. One of those things being right here, I'm going to need to put a seal in. So I'm going to have to counterbore that, put a seal in there so that shaft, which is for the rocking arm, won't be dumping said oil out on the ground. All right. Same thing is true down here. This shaft will be counterbored, and we'll be getting a seal both on the inside and the outside, because it actually has a lube port on this side for like a drip oiler, but I'm going to go ahead and seal both ends of it and then put a drip oiler on there probably. I have one of those laying around, and that will be self-contained and take care of itself. Same is true down here. This is going to be sealed on both ends, and on the opposite side for the rocking shaft, it's going to be sealed. So at that point, I should have a fully sealed lower bottom, allow it to hold a level of oil so we can splash it around, and that should take care of the bull gear as well as this sliding element right here. This should be plenty of splash. My only worry is, will the bull gear get too much and throw it out the top where the ram is going back and forth? Don't know. We'll figure that out. If I need to, I could probably put a little shield in there, but I tell you what, folks, I'm just sick to death of chasing around this thing with an oil can and squirting in a blind hole and putting my, basically, you open the side door, you're opening yourself up for a pretty good risk. So it's going to have a wet bottom sump. Okay, next up, where I've been is I had to get this thing and turn it into something. This is a Keith Rucker. This is his little casting project that he did, where he made up a bunch of these and made them available to us. So it is right at a 9-inch with a 45 on it. So that was taken from a blank casting, shipped out from Keith, and then I've hand scraped it in as best I could. I had the video from Richard King. I've talked with Richard on the phone. Extraordinarily nice man. I hope to know a percentage of what he's forgotten. I'll be in great shape. So from that one, what does that mean for this? That means we're going to be scraping the the whole thing. What? That's a lot of work. Yes, I know. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it right. So we're going to be scraping that in. This is going to be helping me do the V-ways and getting that part done. And that's it. So obviously I scraped the bottom and scraped that as well. My surface plate. Is it perfection? No. Is it pretty good? It's probably 25 points per inch. And that's probably good enough for my purposes. Keeping with being cheap, these Acme nuts, they're going to get parted and they're going to be split in half, and they in turn are going to be my double nuts on the end of the lead screw, on the cross feed and the up down. So that just, they were like, wow, those things are pretty honking big. So I should be able to part those with 2 millimeters or so, 3 millimeter bit, and then still have plenty of meat left. All right, let's take a closer look. I'm taking out these two housings. And let me change your view just a little bit. There we go. Taking out these two housings right here. We are going to take these and we're going to put seals on either end of them and do a drip oiler right here. So that'll be its own self-contained little island. Same thing is true with this one. So it's going to have two seals on either end with a drip oiler going into it. That way it will be self-sustaining and I don't have to squirt an oil can at them every once in a while for never knowing whether it is or is not doing any good. Around here there was no sealing, no problem. We're going to seal that off and I'll explain why. Now down here in the bottom, let me hold and change the frame here. Okay, you can see right here, anybody that's looking, a Drunken Eddie, that's I'm going to nickname whoever was doing this. They not only did they miss, they missed on pretty much all of them. They have a bare, somewhat of a thread, and keep in mind this thing lasted for who knows how long, how many decades with that configuration. The good news is there's plenty of meat right here, so we will be taking that. Now one of the problems I have is I'll have to change the radius on these screws because obviously they're too close. So from there, so we'll have to change that. So what I'll plan on doing is once I get the seal squared away, I'll put these back on here, then I'll bolt it back into position. I marked it on the way out, and then I will basically, well, before I take it off the mill, I'll go ahead and set up a radius on that with the DRO, and I'll punch in probably 3 new holes, and then change the radius on that. I'm going to make these go out just a tad bit more. Probably right about there will be fine. But I need to have it aligned so I don't change the orientation of where it was. I think that'll be important. There is not much of a piloting in the back of the part. It isn't indexed, so either make a new one or use this one and just do a little modification. I think that little modification will be just great. Same thing is true for this other one. There's no piloting. It just sits in the hub. I mean, there's not even an index ring for it. I probably could, but I don't think it's really going to be all that critical. Just for a reminder, this is where the feed comes in, and this is where the bull gear is on the back side of that one, running the hand feed mechanism. All right, I'll bring you back in just a second. Okay, in conjunction, I believe I got these sequenced right. This is the hole that the actual vertical feed goes up and down. This is where that one is, and as I mentioned before, if I get this sequenced right, you'll be aware of it. We're going to go with a 3/4 by 6 Acme thread. So this is going to be bored out just a little bit, and we should be able to take care of that without too much trouble. I'm trying to decide where to do it. Either do it on my drill press, which is tall enough, and or see if I can get enough space out of my mill to let me do that. Okay, these are the gibs that they had in place. Just steel. I'm not even sure what it was, but you can see it. Not exactly sure. I mean, this is for the, this would have been for the vertical, and this would have been for the horizontal. Or maybe I got those backwards, but you notice there's no centering on here. There was just this notch cut. And I think that's where they were feeding the gib screws into. I think we can do a little better job of actually making a ball end mill and making a little pocket for the screw to come in. These are a little thinner than that brass, and that's not the only that I have, but I just thought it might be nice to do it. This top one is on the ram, and you can kind of see where the gib screws were on there. You can also see the dust where this gib was walking. And as a refresher, this is the one that they took and they put a spot weld on it to keep it from sliding in and out. So if we took a ball end mill and we went ahead and put a small little pocket on there that the gib screw could ride in, I think that'll take care of all of that walking nonsense. But anyway, I want to make new gibs for it. Oh my gosh, Dan's gonna do something rather than talk about something. Well, hang on. I'm gonna just take a quick look at these V-ways before I do anything to them. That way I can declare that they were ruined before I started. 2 match gauge pins across the V's. I'm gonna borrow from Dave Ticehurst from today. I have used this before like this, but he just reminded me. So the spacing in between, I'm gonna use this to gauge that. Oh, Dan's got dirt grease on his hands. Where's your gloves? They're not here. Okay. Line this up. Now, when that's in position, it gives a very nice fit. Okay. So I'm going to pull that out of there. You can even feel it's a good fit. And I'm going to use a 4-inch mic. Hey, you're not making it up. No, I'm not. That is 4. Okay. And that is 530. Okay. Widest, narrowing, narrow, opening up again, and pretty much opened up again. So it is going going this direction in the center hump. Okay, well, again, not bad, but we know where we are. Okay, thankfully this is recorded on video. The 2 machine matched pins. We should. Okay, who knew? I reached in my box at a desperate hope of desperation. My 6-inch mic wasn't getting it, and I'm like, oh. I reached in, I'm like, you clever devil. You bought a 7-inch mic for pennies back years ago. So it doesn't really matter if it calibrates out to 0, as long as it measures the same. 347. Okay, that wraps that one up. So it's not horrible. 7, 8, 9, 7. So let's see here. This was probably not the space. It was worn too. And again, give me a thousandths for working with a 7-inch mic. The error rate obviously is huge, but all right, it's not awful. Okay, wash, rinse, and repeat. This is the basically the cross-slide carriage. It rides on the part we just looked at. Borrowing the same thing, using a planer gauge to get the measurement. Make it a little tighter. Okay, and peel that out. Call that one 65. Pretty good, actually. Pretty good. You can look at this one. You can see where they milled it long time ago. Who knows on what, but definitely not a really good machine surface. Now, this isn't all entirely bad. I mean, that was going to hold oil, but ultimately, you know, we could probably do a little better. Taking a quick look at this on the surface plate. Just audibly, looks like it's high on these two corners on the face. Okay, hopefully you can see this thing. It looks like it's dished. Just very lightly. I didn't do anything on major cleanup. Like right here on this surface right here, it's contacting right here, here, and then right down on this corner here. That's about it. I think that needs to be surfaced off just to make it flat, and then we'll see it again. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. All right, well, we'll make that happen. But remember we looked at that a while ago on the surface table? And we're going to get over there, but it doesn't lie. It told me the thing was dish-shaped, and by golly, it is dish-shaped. Okay, we're back. The Boyar Schultz Challenger did a pretty nice job. I have a fairly aggressive stone in there, so don't go looking for mirror finish, because the other part of this, it doesn't need to be a mirror finish. So just as talking about it, we were hitting here, here, like here, and here. It was dished about probably 4 to 5 thousandths across the center line here. So once we got that cleaned up, you might see a parting line right here. That was, this is too wide for my surface grinder, so I had to very carefully spin it around and then back my way into it. I mean, the cut wasn't so big, but you can see there's a little surface finish difference, but that's going to be fine. It's not going to hurt a thing. So, so the back is straight, the front is straight, and it's true now. So at least we know. Okay, I'm gonna just, okay, I probably did a bad job of inking that, but there is no canode in the intergalactic ordering system, no matter where you go. So try to get that. Dicom, yeah, we tried that too. So what I'm playing with here, which is not working out super, is the block printing ink. It's done okay so far, but it's very easy to get gummy and build up. So long story short, looks like the center is still down just a smidge. Surface grinder says it's flat. Surface plate says no, but that's okay. I mean, we can probably clean this up pretty fast. So anyway, it's way better than it was. I don't really feel compelled to scrape it that much because it's not a work surface. It's meant to be sitting there and then have the table bolted to it. Should I? Well, you went this far. Yeah, but really, guys, it's a lot of work. Well, I had to. Not done yet, but we're getting there. The one we surface ground, and now we're scraping it in. Again, why? It's not a work surface, but I'm just getting more and more practice. So either way, what you see here is both sides are marking. The middle is not. So this started along a ridge, much like what it was before I surface ground it. And then as I progressively kept scraping, it's coming to the center. So a lot more work to do, but please do not follow my lead. Anybody that knows anything about this type of work, they're looking at this saying, oh my God, what a butcher. Hey, I'm learning. Give me that. But the progressive steps, referring to Richard King's video, it does work exactly as advertised. So I will continue on, but I want to give you an update that, yeah, I was goofy enough to do this. Well, many hours later, there it is. Again, this is not a sliding surface. It doesn't need any of this. This was just practice. Wound up with a couple of small issues that we seem to get addressed. It's not picture perfect, but at the same time, it only needs the sides and the top. So it's all good there. And we just did a little hand flaking on the end of it just because we can, and it's no extra charge. So pretty much all weekend spent one part. It's scraped. Now,